Bush with the Back River Watershed Association. You never know who you're going to run into on the run.
Hi, I'm Linda D'Angelo, president of the Back River Watershed Association, and I'm down at the Jackson Square area of the Weymouth Herring Run. We're having a great spring migration this year, and we have a lot to be excited about this season. The town of Weymouth has completed the improvements to the flood control area, which was a tunnel that was constructed back in the 70s, and it failed our fish. We had two events of very serious fish kill because the fish were getting trapped in this poorly designed tunnel. Today we have that all corrected. Thank goodness that we have had conscientious people working with the town. We're grateful to Mayor Hedlund and to the funding that we've received for the project. We have state agencies that have worked with our wonderful Weymouth herring wardens. We want to acknowledge all of their effort through the years. George Loring and Phil Lofgren, Steve Hickey, and other people that have worked to make sure that our fish have a healthy, well-maintained herring run. So today is a beautiful spring day. We've got a little bit of rain coming down. The fish are coming through. We have a lot of things happening between a great population of fish coming through. Also, the improvements that were done down here include the smelt run. They smooth the surface of the smelt run, as well as correcting the swing gate that was allowing these fish to get trapped into this area of the conduit and into the tunnel. So we're very grateful for all of that. We have the Division of Marine Fisheries fish project leader, the Didranimous fish project leader, Brad Chase, working today on the run. And so he's got some things to talk to us about. We're also looking at the hopes of future migration coming up the 3 corridor. That is our hope, that these fish will be able to spawn at the historic sites that they used to many decades before. So I just want to say thank you to everyone who also came out and helped with the community cleanup day. I know there were people down here at the herring run helping our wardens to maintain this run. So if I've forgotten anybody, I just also want to recognize the Commissioner of Fish and Game. He's been terrific. Ron has come down, and we've had a wonderful celebration with the town, and certainly the Weymouth Conservation Commission and Engineer Department, DPW, everybody working together in partnership for the success of our herring. And remember that this journey of our herring begins way out in the Atlantic Ocean. So these fish are very, very stressed when they're coming through this long journey. They've got to come into Boston Harbor and come through Hingham Bay into the Back River, into the channel, and make their way through Herring Brook, all the way through these many fish ladders. And that is why this tunnel and this flood control area getting improved is so vital to their habitat. They've got to get up to the Whitman's Pond, their ancestral spawning ground, and as I say, they come in the thousands. So these fish are very, very important to the whole marine food web. It's a coastal and cold water fisheries that they help support. So if you'll enjoy your fish, your cod, your tuna, your haddock, all of these beautiful fish are forage fish. And these herring are the keystone species that really help to supply the rest of our wonderful fish that come to our table every year. So we just want to say thank you to everybody involved with this partnership. Okay. Hi, Brad Chase from the Division of Marine Fisheries. Brad is down here at the Jackson Square Fishway, and we are very excited about our herring population coming through. This spring's migration looks pretty good. And I just want to say thank you to Brad for his years of dedication. I believe that your new title for this project might be called the Didranimous Fish Project Leader. Is that right?
Yeah, Didranimous Project leader.
Yes. So thank you for that and all the years that you've been helping us here in Weymouth, not only with the herring run, but obviously with improvements for our smelt run. So this fishery is very important. We understand the importance of keystone species, working to improve the conditions in the marine food web, to increase our herring and to increase our fisheries that are in trouble. So overall, we're very grateful that we have these improvements to the flood control area down here at the Jackson Square Fishway. And I just want to turn it over to Brad so he can talk a little bit about the work he's doing down here. Here you go, Brad.
Thank you very much, and thank you for asking me to come down today to talk about these things. So I guess what I'll do is describe the particular project I'm working on today. So what happened, there was a flood control tunnel here adjacent to the fishway that for many years had a gate, and herring would get inside the gate and they'd suffer mortality, either being trapped against the gate, moving downstream again, or by having their water quality decline inside the tunnel. And there was a series of mortality events over the year, and so the town wanted to fix this. And it took a long time to design. I've been involved with discussions on this particular project for over 20 years. So it's a slow burning project that came to fruition this year. It was completed. It was a great project, designed initially by Gomez and Sullivan engineers, and then executed by Sumco Eco Engineering, and funded and supported the whole way by the town of Weymouth. So great cast of characters put this all together, and it was a really successful project. So one feature of that was to put up a diversion wall to keep herring out of the tunnel at all times. And that's probably the greatest need and the greatest success of this project. Herring are not going to get caught in the tunnel anymore. There'll be no more mortality. But the project also sought to guide the fish right up to the fishway by shaping the diversion wall so that they would just steer them right towards the fishway and increase their water depth a little bit to give them more space to move. It also designed a resting pool that was constructed in the channel to give the fish about 3 or 4 feet of water depth to rest in. Today as we speak, there's a couple thousand fish hanging out in the resting pool, so it's nice to see. It's working. Also, the project sought to improve things for rainbow smelt. Now this is a species that's really a cold water fish, and they've been challenged for decades by climate change. They need cold water. They need to have riffles where they can spawn in, where it's fast flowing water with cobble underneath where they can deposit their eggs. And if they don't have that fast flowing water, it's not suitable to induce them to spawn. And this site's really important because we've seen changes in over 30 years here where we used to have spawning throughout this entire channel behind us, and you'd find eggs throughout the whole place attached to rocks. Now you find eggs only up close to the fishway and at this rock weir down below us here, because the water velocity just isn't strong enough to induce them to spawn. Part of this is no one's fault. This is climate change. Sea level rise has been increasing here. It makes me feel old because I've been coming here so long, I've watched the sea level rise. And I can't believe it's true. But what's happened is this is no longer one of the largest smelt runs in the state. I used to say 30 years ago we had our big three in Massachusetts for smelt: the Neponset River, the Back River, and the Fore River. Neponset River is almost gone because of sea level rise. This site has been impacted by sea level rise, but also, I think, by water management. The town needs more water, obviously, for its citizens, but by taking more water over time, there's less flow in the brook for these species. So that's another issue. I think climate change is probably the biggest challenge for this fish because they also need cold water. So back to the project, we had hoped to improve smelt spawning habitat by increasing velocities, by truncating the channel up top, as well as by reducing this rock weir to increase the slope. So by increasing the slope, you might have more velocity. And so what I'm doing today is I'm measuring transects that were measured before the project and now after the project to see if we've increased velocity. And so what I'll do is compare that to river flow data to see at certain river stages, what do we have for velocities for smelt. And the project is not complete, but I can tell you the project probably just made marginal gains for smelt because it's just so difficult to increase velocity. So I think we helped river herring tremendously, and I'm hoping we helped smelt a little bit. Today, the flow right there at that rock weir is a suitable velocity, about 0.8 meters per second, to induce smelt to spawn. We've had some rain lately, so the flow's higher. early this spring, the velocities were much lower. So I'm hoping I can give some guidance to the town of Weymouth on how to manage the flood control tunnel to maybe get more flow in the river early when the smelt need it. So I think that covers the project, but I'd be happy to take any questions.
Well, there'll be 1,000 questions as we go forward with this, but Brad, I just want to say thank you very much, because I know that you have keen sense of how this whole fishery should be managed, and we are going to really depend on you as well as our herring wardens. And just to say, I became more aware about smelt because I got involved with the FRACs, the Four River Residents Against the Compressor Station, opposition to the station being built in North Weymouth, and I then realized that the Four River had a very productive smelt run, and how big it was. And so I know you were also involved with the FikeNet project between Four River and the Manatequit, and I started to do some research, and I just also wanted to say an extended thank you to you for helping me out with that understanding and all of the work that you've been doing through the years. But we really rely on the experts as well as the everyday citizen. What do they have to say about things? Eyes and ears on the run matter. And this is a full-time thing, and I think the people in this area really take pride in it. So it's a historical place. It's something that Weymouth needs to keep, up and recognize the big picture that this fishery and this run is really helping for the food web, and we want to be part of the success story. So Brad, I have something really exciting to share with you today. So with the keen observation of herring wardens, I know Phil Lofgren has been down to the corridor area of the three route, and we're starting to see evidence of some fish that are trying to come through there. And with that, the town of Weymouth is responding to our request to remove the Snup Dam, as it is referred to, at the Industrial Libby Parkway. Yep. And so this is something that we're really, partnering with the town on. I've just sent a letter of support from the Back River Watershed Association, and we're looking at restoration in Mill River as well. So we are going to stay focused on these things, and we're going to be relying on your expertise to help guide us. Yep. And I often like to give a shout out about our Ecology of the Weymouth Back River report that was done by the University of Massachusetts Dartmouth School of Marine Sciences and Technology Coastal Waters Group. And that is becoming a book of tremendous resource and reference to guide us for future management of this river and these fisheries. So that's Route 3 that we're looking at. Hopefully those fish are going to keep showing up there, and we're going to help them along. So just want to say thank you again for taking the time to talk to us today, Brad. Thanks.
Can I add one more quick thing?
Yes.
Great news on the concept of removing that dam. I think it's probably one of the top potential projects in the watershed that can help migratory fish and aquatic life. So that is great news. But I did want us to speak very briefly about the productivity of this watershed. It's probably one of the best river herring runs in urban areas in Massachusetts in terms of numbers of herring that are seen per spawning acreage. And that's kind of remarkable because it is an urban watershed. It's a water supply, so the water is constantly being used for other uses, and yet it has the highest productivity for fish per spawning acre. And I think a lot of that goes back to the credit with the locals, local stewardship, and really high marks given to the herring wardens in the town of Weymouth for all they do for decades. So to George and Phil, thank you very much, and we wish that every town could have the same level of dedication that they provide.
Well, thank you so much, Brad, for those kind words, and they're all true. And we want to inspire future generations to come along and fill the footsteps of our herring wardens. This is something that we can take as an educational opportunity, and we want to take pride in Weymouth's natural heritage for a long, long time, for years to come. We want to thank people of vision, like our wonderful founder, Mary Toomey of the Back River Watershed Association, and the tremendous amount of selflessness and years of dedication that she took to restore the Back River, the estuary, and bring us all of this beautiful nature to withstand this urbanized development. And these are pressing issues, as Brad is pointing out. We need our water. We need our... Hi, I just wanted to share some really exciting news. May 3rd, a historic thing happened. Out on the Route 3 north and southbound area, we actually documented sightings of herring spawning and other fish trying to come through. And so we wanted to share that today with Brad Chase. Brad, what do you think of that?
I think it's a great finding. It speaks to some high potential for restoration activity at that site, removing that dam to give fish access further upstream. We conducted a river herring spawning and nursery habitat in this system over 10 years ago, and we found really high water quality in the Old Swamp River. And so the water is cool, it's good water quality, so the fish want to go up there. And when I speak about this system having some of the highest productivity in terms of fish counts per spawning acreage, it doesn't include that habitat upstream of there. So the Old Swamp River could be additive and create more spawning habitat for these fish, as well as connectivity for other species that want to go up there. So we focus on river herring, but lots of species could want to go up if we could remove that dam. So that's great news, and it's exciting to think about what might happen soon.
Well, again, we're very excited about this prospect. Again, it just shows you that, if you work with nature, you can have a great success story, and this is what we're all about. So we're very grateful for our partnerships and for the work that all of these great people are doing in the state agencies as well as our local people. So thank you again. So, yes, I'm talking with Brad Chase from the Division of Marine Fisheries. We are really in appreciation for the many years that he has worked on this run. And we just wanted to ask him a little bit about that history today. So, Brad, how long have you been down here working? Not today, we don't want to make you work all day, but how many years, decades, how many years has it been?
Well, I hesitate to say because it makes me an older person than I'd like to be. But I started over 32 years ago. I've come down here continuously. I haven't missed a spring. And my early focus was on rainbow smelt. This is before I worked on all diatomous species. And so I'd come down here and we were documenting rainbow smelt spawning habitat as well as the extent of where they spawn in this watershed. So it's been a long time. Had early influences with the herring warden right away. Mary Toomey got to know me early on, and she would let me know all the time if there was something I needed to work on. She wouldn't hesitate. And so it's been a great relationship with the town of Weymouth, town officials as well as the local stewards the whole way. And so it's really been something I appreciate. I would love to see the rainbow smelt run rebound here. That's one of my largest concerns. And I marvel at the river herring productivity that's found in this watershed. So we'll keep coming back as long as they let me.
Well, we know that these fish have been coming through for millennia, and that's our goal. Let's keep them coming through safely. And again, saying thank you very much to you today and for every day that you're here through the years. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so we're talking about all kinds of restoration efforts. And we know that the smelt run here is very important at the Jackson Square Fishway. So the smelt play an important role in the ecosystem for our fisheries as well as herring. And part of the restoration here has been to look at the changes that we've seen on the smelt themselves. They don't do well with the rough rocks. And we've seen the herring wardens actually hold fish scales in their hands and describe to us the need to help these fish. And I know that we have Brad Chase here that's going to talk all about the importance of improving that smelt run. So again, let me turn it over to Brad.
Thank you. So once again, the name of this restoration project was the Herringbrook River Herring and Rainbow Smelt Habitat Restoration Project. So it was a long title, but it included both species. And one feature I didn't discuss earlier was when this site was dewatered this summer to do the actual tunnel diversion wall project, it was a great opportunity to rehab the fishway. And the herring wardens have been asking us for years on ideas on how to improve things because the weirs, concrete weirs, had become degraded and they were braiding fish as they passed through all these weirs. I believe there's 14. And you would see a lot of scale loss. And these fish would have that damage as they were moving up. And so while the site was dewatered, my crew came in, the DMF Fishway crew, which has operated since 1934. The Fishway crew are 2 staff right now. came in and worked with the herring wardens while the site was dewatered. We ground down the weirs to make them smooth again, and then we resurfaced them with hydraulic cement, and then we patched all the concrete cracks and holes in the fishway. So picture it as a fishway tune-up that was done only because the whole site was dewatered. And I thought that was another added feature to this whole restoration project.
That was a perfect opportunity to make those important changes. And again, these are the keen observations from experts that understand what to do. What is the health of a fishery? How can we improve the health of the smelt? And I know that, these projects are going on in various places throughout Massachusetts, but here in Weymouth, we have an awful lot to celebrate. And so again, thank you again.
And we'll see you soon. Thanks.